Episode 79, NMC Exteriors. We've got Luke and Chad. Thanks for coming in.
You bet. Thanks for having us.
For the people that don't know what NMC Exteriors and Remodeling is, what is it?
NMC Exteriors and Remodeling is an exterior remodeling company that right now is based out of Plymouth. Started in Buffalo, though, I think in 99. And I can't remember exactly.
99.
Yeah. I don't remember when they moved to Plymouth. It was probably 10 years ago now, I think, 2010.
Not sure.
Know when?
No, it was before my time.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to have all these answers, so go to him for the critical data.
Yeah.
But, just an exterior remodeling company that kind of pride ourselves on customer service. And obviously, jobs aren't always going to go perfect. We'd prefer they would, but kind of pride ourselves on making things right when something does go wrong.
Sure.
So you mentioned, let's throw out some names here. Who owns it? What's their connection with Buffalo? And I guess where did it start and where's it at now?
Nick Mortensen, who was a 98 grad, he graduated with my brother from Buffalo. He started it right out of high school and then eventually got married to Molly, who grew up in Buffalo as well. And I believe they kind of passed the torch on to Molly, kind of owning the company now. And they born and raised in Buffalo. They live in Rockford now. I was also born and raised in Buffalo, as well as one of our salesmen, and then one of our site supervisors is from the area as well. So we got a lot of roots out here.
A strong Buffalo connection. And what's your background and where are you from?
I actually grew up in Delano. Sorry guys. It was so I grew up very close to this area.
Yep.
I mean, farmed, our address was actually Montrose.
Yep.
But the school district was Delano. Grew up in the construction industry, the farming business. Went in the military in '92. Came back. Went back into the military again. Came back. Married a girl from Waconia and moved back to Delano, where we have a whole bunch of kids. So came to work for NMC from another local exterior contractor. Be 2 years in February. So I came in as the very first general manager they've hired.
Cool.
So is an unbelievably generous, just kind company to work for. Nick and Molly are probably two of the most amazing people I've ever dealt with in an ownership group, and I've dealt with a lot of them over the last 30 years. So what they do for the local community is also pretty amazing. I know we talked a little bit previously about some of the campaigns they have while giving back. Last year we did Make-A-Wish. We did over $20,000 and we try to, again, keep it within our community as best we can. Did over $20,000 for one Make-A-Wish kid. This year we tried to spread that out a little bit more within the community, and we got 26 different stories back from our All Under One Roof campaign where we got to give back to someone locally that hardships, maybe over the COVID thing, maybe just, regular life happening stuff, back into the community again. So a big portion of what we try to do as a company is give back to where we do a business, where where we came from.
Right.
So it's really a great opportunity to be on here and talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
How'd that start? Who came up with that?
This is, our magnificent owner, Molly, who wakes up sometimes at 2 a.m. and has brilliant ideas she has to write down, and much to her husband's dismay at an occasion when she does wake up that time. But she comes up with most of these types of plans, and they're supported really well by our marketing department and myself and Luke and the rest of the team. So we try to get the entire company involved in these things because it feels good. People always have a good feeling when they go in and do something awesome for someone in need. You feel good about it. So it's a morale thing too.
Yeah. Yeah, you come in, if it's all about remodeling and putting up roofs and going home and collecting checks, and it would be easy to maybe lose your drive, right?
Yeah.
If it's all about your selfish interest, I guess. So having the ability to make it bigger than roofing, remodeling, and reaching other people, I think is what takes that to the next level.
Yeah, and sharing and giving back. I mean, it's a huge part of what we do at NMC. We do really feel like we've been blessed. We've done really well. We've worked really hard and giving back. Just it's that karma thing, right? It makes us all feel good. It also comes back tenfold when you do that stuff. So it is really fun to get back out there.
And bringing donuts.
Yes.
That makes you feel good. You guys can bring donuts like any time.
Every Friday.
If it warms your heart.
Always good things that come with donuts.
Luke, what's your role with NMC? What do you do?
My role is VP of production, so I just kind of stay in charge of the production department. All jobs that come through NMC go through me, as far as work orders, material orders, making sure that our project managers have everything kind of dialed in. If they don't, I help them dial it in a little better, and then getting the jobs done correctly. And I mean, really, I have 4 great site supervisors that help me out and kind of are my eyes and ears in the field.
Right. 3 out of the 4 are great.
No, I'm just kidding. I say 3 because
Who made him mad today?
I'm just kidding.
one of the guys is he sticks to HOA stuff like townhomes and apartments, stuff like that.
Sure.
And then the other 3 guys are mine all the time, the HOA guy.
Right.
When I get him, that's like bonus coverage.
Yep.
And he kind of really goes in and knocks out small repairs and stuff like that. But those 4 guys are awesome. And then I have another production manager, Tom, who does all of the scheduling. So if I know we have a lot of customers out here because we've done a lot of work in the area in the last 1.5 to 2 years. Most of them have spoke with Tom about when their roof project's going, what to expect when it is going on, and just trying to keep everybody in the loop.
Yep. Because I know that I've known you 30 years.
Long time.
Yeah.
Holy crap. They're old.
Yeah, right. Your construction background is you've done a lot of different things, and I know you've had some jobs that you really liked and some jobs that just through conversations we've had, and it seems like you've landed in a really good spot.
Yeah, I started framing houses right out of high school, and I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed that just because you're outside all the time. There's obviously some days where it's not pleasant to be outside when it's 20 below or 100 degrees and humid. It's not fun, but framing in general it was a pretty fun job, just being outside all the time, messing around with the guys you work with, stuff like that. And I did that until 2014. That's when I jumped over to work with Nick and Molly and kind of started out as a site supervisor and then realized I could do some other things a lot better and started kind of taking over the whole production department.
Do you have all your fingers?
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
That's how it counts.
He's pretty good. He's been doing it a long time.
Oh, there's
and
too
he's
many
good at it.
that don't have fingers. I know what you're talking about because I had plenty of site supervisors when I was framing that would come by. And I remember one guy, he always had his ring finger was gone because it got hooked on a nail.
Yep.
Pulled it right off. But
There's a very low chance of that ever happening in my job. It's not never, but it's pretty dang low. It's pretty dang low.
He's being pretty humble too. There's an awful lot of things that funnel through the production team's chairs. I mean, from customer complaints to anything. Lucas really handles a lot more than just, it sounds pretty simple when he says that. I just handle all the jobs that come through. Well, if you think about last year's volume with the storms we had locally, with the stuff, in our backyards, we were very busy. We were building 10 to 12 roofs a day. We were doing that kind of productivity with really 2 guys back there, as the backbone and kicking these site supervisors to the spots they need to be. So he's managing a ton of people out there and moving a lot of things. So I'm not going to let him get away with being that humble on this thing. We honestly wouldn't know what to do without the guy. So he does a ton of work back there people don't really realize.
Job, Luke. I'm proud of you.
Well, it's a lot of that training I took from Mark Benzer back in high school sports that led me in the direction.
Yeah.
Well, when you guys are maybe the top 2 athletes to ever come out of the Buffalo school system.
The people still talk about that.
Yeah.
So it's...
I haven't met any of those people.
They're out there.
They went to a different school. You don't know them. You don't know them.
That's telling you guys never hear about this.
My mom, my dad.
Let's kind of talk about that volume. I mean, you said 12 roofs a day. I mean, that's tremendous. And then over the last year of COVID and then supply shortages and to get 12 you have workers. I mean, we hear that all the time of like
it's kind of a back and forth right now. We went through a time, the end of last year we were short crews. And we were struggling with material and it was just kind of a full on nightmare. We didn't know what was going to happen. Then with these storms, what happens is a lot of people do come to the area and then they find out, hey, we really like it here.
Yeah.
And we were able to improve the size of our crews and vet some really good guys that came in on the roofing side. Material, what we had prior, we could do in 8 weeks, we could get certain sidings or certain stuff. Now it's 16 weeks, 20 weeks. Still some shutdowns from COVID, still some things that bounce back and forth. Like windows, it might be 32 weeks.
Oh my God.
So it's a difficult conversation for us to have.
It kind of feels like they're just guessing at that time. Like,
They really are.
They are.
32 weeks.
Well, and just imagine you're a homeowner and you come in, and the difficulty for a project manager or our sales department to go out and say, hey, all right, you really want these windows. I'd love to have them to you. Hey, by the way, the price went up 30% from last year, and you probably won't get them till next year.
Yeah.
What kind of sales pitch is that?
Right.
And it's difficult, and it's difficult for people to understand. And, again, that's why we work locally. We work with people that know, who we are, and they understand that, hey, these guys aren't telling us a line here. This is really just the way it is. So,
yeah.
But
So, I mean, so if you are calling to, hey, we have a deck remodel, it's not like they're going to be out there next weekend.
no, we have the staff now to build a roof in a week.
Yep.
Like I could get Luke the paperwork. He could have a roof built in a week. And now with the material in, we're doing pretty good that way. But a siding project, it could be 16 weeks. It could be 30 weeks. And that's strictly waiting on material.
Could be 2 weeks.
Sure.
Yeah, it could be 2 weeks. It could be.
Depending on what they pick.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes the siding materials lately we call it in and they say, hey, we actually have this, and we all kind of fall to the floor.
I'll take all of it.
Doesn't happen. But most of the other ones, it's 12 weeks minimum for anything. And I mean, as far as crews goes, we've always kind of kept up on crews, and we always get crews coming in wanting to work for us. I like to think we treat ourselves very well and very fairly. And so we get, weekly 5 roofers, 5 siders coming in looking for work. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially, in a world where workers are a shortage right now, in an industry where they're
It's the carpentry side of things, the window installers, and then for the interior guys, which luckily we aren't, like your electricians, your plumbers, your stuff that takes 2 or 3 years of school or really an apprenticeship program to get to it. Not to say that siding and roofing and stuff isn't a highly skilled trade, because it is, but it's not an apprenticeship program. It's not, all these things that go into it. So we see a little bit more of an influx of people in those trades. When it comes to our window sub has been trying to hire an additional crew for over a year, which is just 4 guys, and they've had 1 applicant. So, and that applicant wasn't good enough to get on their team. So it's definitely a labor issue coming down the pipe somewhere.
Sure.
So if there's any kids watching, get in the trades.
Yes, please, carpenters, roofers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of shift a little bit off of the construction.
Yeah, sure.
And what's one thing you wish all 250,000 listeners of the Buffalo Community Podcast would know about Nick and Molly, or something that the general public wouldn't know?
Ooh, we got to be careful here, Luke.
You don't want to get fired.
Yeah, we got to be real careful here. I think I'm always amazed by seeing a couple, that can work. Their office, they're side by side. They're 6 feet apart, and we're both married. And I talk to my wife all the time, like, hey, I love you, honey, but man, if we had to work in the same office, like
10 by 10 area,
I
all
don't
day, every day.
And do they have their little disagreements back and forth or whatever? In my capacity, I'm in there a lot, so I see.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to me, really, how well they work as a team, like how they operate together, how they do stuff, like their thought processes and how they work, side by side. They're really the best team I've ever seen. And it is really pretty impressive and kind of, again, awe-inspiring a little bit, like, wow, you spend all this time together, you go home together, you do your stuff with your kids together, and you come back and you work together every day. It's really a pretty neat thing to see.
And the fun part about it is when they're in the office and don't agree on something, Chad gets the deciding vote. So he's making one of them really happy, and the other one's like doesn't want to talk to Chad.
Right. Molly's like, I'm the one that signs the bottom of that paycheck.
Yeah, there's a lot of me creeping out of that office backwards trying to get out.
Oh, I gotta go check
I was going to
something.
say, I got to take this phone call.
I left
I
my
won't be back until
coffee
next week.
pot out.
The great thing is seldomly does that ever come up. So
Sure.
it's really awesome. Like I said, it's pretty cool to see someone work that well. We have an unbelievable team there, and it's one of the funnest things about, walking in that door every day. I drive there with a smile. I can't wait to get in, see what we're doing today. Luke always brings donuts, so, obviously I enjoy those. It's a fun team, and they create a really fun team atmosphere there. Like, the way they carry themselves really spreads into the culture, and really they worry as much about how our lives are, or more, I think, than how theirs are. So the first company I've ever worked for that says, hey, you need to take some vacation. Like, you need to go somewhere. Like, you need a break. You need to,
Yeah.
That's just the type of people they are, and it really spreads into the culture. So
Awesome. How about you guys? What's hobbies, goals, family?
Hobbies?
Talk a little bit about family.
Well, right now I live with my wife and our 2 dogs in Maple Grove, but we're trying to relocate back out this way. Preferably, I'd be in Buffalo, but I don't think she's going to let it happen. She's from the cities. She has to be around all the people. She wants to be in a neighborhood where she can go float around door to door and talk to people every day. She loves doing that. So, and our dogs are the same way. They love floating around and talking to people. So, that's what we like to do, is just sit at home with our dogs, really. And my main hobby is golfing. I love golfing, and I do it all at the best golf course in the state here at Wild Marsh. It really is my favorite place to go. I love all the guys that work there. Men's league night, it's always fun. It doesn't matter who you play out there.
Yeah.
Good conversations and smiles all night for the most part. And I think recently like this year we got like our company membership is at Wild Marsh, so now everybody can kind of go out there and enjoy it.
Awesome.
Cool.
How many holes in ones do you have?
1.
Awesome.
On
The
hole
answer's
16.
almost always 0.
No, I got
That's
one
awesome.
at hole 16 on Wild Marsh. I think I got that in 2011 or 12. Couldn't believe it happened.
You're due for one.
And it wasn't like one of those things where it just, I sculled it and it rolled the whole way up to the green and went in, or hit off a tree. It was a nice shot.
Looked
Bounced
intentional.
a couple times and dropped right in. I about hit the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've never even had one nice shot.
No, he hasn't.
I attest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty awful. It's an awful game.
Yeah. How about yourself, Chad?
I hunt, fish, spend a lot of time with my kids, my boys, and my girls. We have a large family, so
Is it 15?
it's about to be 11.
Congratulations.
So my wife's pregnant now, but we have 8 together. I had 3 older kids when we met, so we spent a lot of time as the best. Was it the best 2?
Two of the best
Two of the best
ever
best
to come out of Buffalo.
ever
High
to come
School.
out. So you
Top 30
understand
at least.
the
Undisputed.
the dedication parents have to put into the time. I have wrestlers and football players and hockey players and, now soccer with the girls and all those things. So,
Oh, my goodness.
and my wife does 90% of the work. I get to show up to them sometimes, but really that's our life, revolves around the kids. And immediately after this, we're going up bow hunting. So.
Yep. But this is obviously outside of school hours. You keep on pointing over to the floor. With
Yes,
this.
I would not take my child out of school to see his dad do something really cool on a podcast.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump in on that with spending time with your kids, and then I've gotten into golf this year as well.
Okay.
My son Charlie goes, Dad, are you golf? He's seven.
Yeah.
He goes, Dad, are you golfing again? I said, Whoa. I'm playing the long game here. If you ever want to go golfing with me or fishing or hunting, you can't complain about it now. Because if you want Mom to support us to do this together, you got to be supportive. He's like, oh, have fun. So that's always great. But anything we missed about NMC, you guys, Nick and Molly?
Again, I'd just like to, first thanks for having us on here and let everybody locally know that we are a local contractor. And when you're out there looking for stuff, there's other ones that are great too. So I don't want to just say it's about us, but really one of the most important things when you're choosing a contractor is choose someone choose someone locally that you can look up. You can talk to guys. You can talk to, call your insurance agent, ask them, hey, who's a good local person. So,
And that was actually, I'm glad you brought that up because, you don't want to talk badly about, but I think there are some red flags in terms of when somebody knocks on your door, when somebody calls you, what would be some good questions that a homeowner could ask to kind of vet the solicitation of, is this is this a reputable company? Is this somebody who's going to have my best interest in mind, or is this somebody who's blown into town and blown out of town? And
I would ask them where they're located, how long they've been there, how long you've been in business, stuff like that. Because a lot of exterior remodeling companies, I mean, they're there 1 year and they're gone the next, or they change names or something like that. So sometimes you never know. I'm sure Chad has more to add to that.
Statistically, 90% of contractors are out of business in the first 5 years. Or go out of business. In the first 5 years, 50% of them do. So the attrition rate's pretty bad. Also, when you look at, say, BBB complaints, in the United States, roofers have held that spot as the number one BBB complaint. You want to talk about champions? 16 years.
Wow.
So, again, and in Canada,
That's a
roofers
dynasty.
have done it 13 years.
Yeah.
So roofing contractors in general get a bad reputation. They get a lot of things out there. So to find a good one, you have to be very cautious. You have to be smart. When we go out and talk to customers and they say, hey, I'm getting 5 estimates, I always tell my project managers, and they say, hey, guys, make sure they know that these stats are there. So 3 out of 5 of them probably won't be in business in a few years. The other 2, make sure they're very, very reputable. Make sure you're checking the BBB. Make sure you're going to their website. Make sure you're checking their Google reviews. I mean, there's so many ways to vet a company now that there's really lots of opportunity to do that. So if someone knocks on your door, hands you a card, gives you a flyer, talks to you about stuff, the main thing is follow up on it. Look into it. Are they a brick and mortar operation like we are, located centrally in the state? Or are they a guy with a truck and a ladder that might not even have insurance? People really need to pay attention to those things.
I think I heard it described once as it's no longer buyer beware, it's seller beware. And because the information's out there. Like if you're a seller of insurance roofing houses, like there's no secrets anymore.
No.
And it just takes a little bit of effort on the consumer side to find out, is this a reputable company? How long have they been in business? Are they local? Are they, Google reviews, Facebook reviews? I mean, like, it is, you have all of the resources and information you need to make a good, educated buying decision, and seller beware, because
that's a very good statement. And, we talk about it all the time, too. We have about a 99.8% satisfaction rate, which is astonishing in our industry. And we tend to get hung up on the 3 or 4 projects that go bad for the year, because they happen. It's construction, they happen. And we fail to sometimes concentrate on the hundreds of them that went amazing. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? And we have these conversations and meetings. So I think it's a good thing, because we care so much about not having those issues that we end up actually kind of focusing on, hey, this is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem, to fix it. So go back, like you said, it's a perfect opportunity to go back. If someone has 5 Google reviews, but they're 5-star, don't look at that star rating. Look at the number of them. There's probably going to be a couple, 1s, 2s, and 3s in there. It adds a little legitimacy to it. So
I always read those ones first.
Yep, absolutely. Go lowest to highest. Because I don't believe someone that has 1,500 reviews and they're all 5 stars.
Exactly.
Right. And you had your entire team make up Google accounts, didn't you? But I'm not saying that happens in our industry. It happens in our industry. But, well, thank you so much for coming in. Yeah. Again, is it nmcexterior.com?
Yep, nmcexteriors.com.
If a guy like me can just guess that right out of the...
Got you guys a little present, too.
Yeah, you got to actually take it out of the bag, Luke. Or you just, these guys are just, they get super.
Oh, check this out.
You get that one.
Look at that. I want that one. Thanks, guys.
I think in your morning coffee, you see something falling off your house, you think of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what's the process? Somebody says, boy, we had hailstorm last August, or we had
even
whatever.
if it's not a hailstorm, like if you just say, hey, it's time for new windows or new siding or new roofing.
Yep.
People call in, they talk to Susie. She does a fantastic job of walking them through what to expect.
Yep.
And kind of sends what representative that she thinks will fit that project well out there, and kind of hit the floor running with it.
And also for guys in both your industries, it's really good to have a referral partner in this industry, because, like we said, there's a lot of attrition, there's a lot of things out there, and for you to be able to tell your best clients, because those are the people that call you first when something goes on.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to reach out and say, hey, call Chad over at NMC. He's going to get this stuff set up for you. Know someone's going to come out and give an honest assessment, and not just say, yep, damage. You know, call your agent. Let's get this thing rolling. You know, we're
going to slam this thing through.
That's right. We tell more people not to file than we do to file, which is opposite everybody in the industry. So,
that's that's an off-camera discussion. That's huge. That's huge. That's so often there's an expectation, an unrealistic expectation set, and then I get the phone call.
Yep. Why aren't you doing it?
Yeah. So anyway,
No, if there's like, all you do is cause problems if you say, hey, there's damage when there isn't.
Yep.
Yes. But for the Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler Reiss.
Mark Benzer, Chad Kestner.
And Lucas Conzett.